So this lesson is on dividing polynomials. So here's how it works. There's really a 1 here, so we're going to divide our regular numbers. 6 divided by 1 is still 6. With the exponents, remember when you're dividing, you subtract. So 1 minus 1, those x's cancel out. The y's, you have a 2 minus 1, which is just a y. Bring my minus down. 3, and we're going to divide again, right here in the middle. 3 divided by 1 is 3. Your x's will cancel and your y's will cancel. I'm going to bring down my plus and my 2. When I subtract my x's, 2 minus 1 is just a 1x. And my y's, 1 minus 1 cancels out. All right, let's divide the second one. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Subtract your a's, so you get a to the first. Now we don't have to put that 1 up there. Subtract your b's and you get b to the first. Bring down your minus. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 2 minus 2 is 0, so your a's cancel. 3 minus 1 is b to the second. Number 3, there's really a 1 there. 5 divided by 1 is 5. Your x's cancel, and when you subtract your y's, you just get y. Bring down your minus and your 6. Okay, so now look, there is no x here, so I'm going to leave the x on the bottom. Okay, it doesn't just go away. Since there's no x on top to combine it with, it stays on the bottom. And then the y's, you get y to the second on top. When you subtract, you get 2. So then your plus, you get 3. Subtract your x's and you get 1x. Subtract your y's and you get y to the second. All right. What if you have y's and z's? Well, same thing, divide. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Subtract your y's, and you get a negative 1. So that means that y is going to go on the bottom, because to fix the negative, you move it to the bottom. Same thing with your z's. When you subtract your z's, you get negative 5. So that's also going to go on the bottom. Okay? Plus, 2 divided by 3 won't reduce, so I'm just going to put 2/3. When I subtract my y's, I get y to the first. It's a positive, so it's going to go on top. When I subtract my z's, I get z to the first, so that's going to go on top. Minus 27 divided by 3 is 9. Your y's cancel. When you subtract your z's, you get a negative 2, which means that z to the second is going to go on bottom to make it a positive. Now, what happens if you are not dividing by one term, but like an x minus 8? We're going to do something called synthetic division, and it's pretty easy. I'm going to do lots, so don't watch this first one and get frustrated. Just know you'll get it. So whatever we're dividing by, x minus 8, since it's a minus 8, we're going to start with a positive 8. You're always going to start with the opposite of whatever we're dividing by. If it was an x plus 8, then I would have put a negative 8 in there. And then right beside it, we're going to put all of our coefficients. So this is a 1. And then here I have a negative 5. And then at the end, I have a negative 24. All right, so here's how synthetic division works. I love this, guys. You're gonna like it. You bring down your first term. So 1 comes straight down. Then you multiply. 8 times 1 is 8. And you put your answer right here. Okay? And then we add. Okay, we're going to add these. So negative 5 plus 8 is 3. 8 times 3 is 24. Put your answer here. And again, we're adding. Negative 24 plus 24 is nothing. So this last number is your remainder. So we don't have a remainder at all. This is just the number. And then this term gets an x. So this final answer is going to be 1x plus 3, because I got a positive 3. Now, you don't have to put that 1 there. Obviously, we know that if it's just an x, there is a 1 there. All right, let's do another one. Don't get frustrated and act like I can't do it. Let's do another one. All right, so the number I'm going to use is a positive 2, right? Because you always do the opposite, and the opposite of a minus 2 is a positive 2. So that goes in my little half box. And then the coefficients I'm going to use are a 1 for the x to the third. Now look, there's not an x squared. So I have to put a 0 to put it space. The number in front of the x is a 1, and the number at the end is a negative 10. So those are the coefficients that I'm using. So let's do this. Bring down your first number, and we multiply. 2 times 1 is 2. We put our answer here. And remember our rule, we add them. So 0 plus 2 is 2. We're going to multiply. 2 times 2 is 4, so that number is going to go here. So 4. Add them. 4 plus 1 is 5. Multiply. 2 times 5 is 10, so that answer goes here. Add them and you get 0. So again, this is my remainder. This is my number. This gets an x, and this one will get an x squared. Okay? So my final answer is going to be x squared. It's a positive 2x and a positive 5. And there was no remainder, right? This is the x squared, this is the 2x, and this is the positive 5, and there is no remainder. Let's do another one. All right, this time the numbers I'm going to use a negative 3. That's going to go in my half box. And then the coefficients I'm going to use are a 2. It has an x squared, so that's going to be a 7. The x is a 2. And the number at the end is a 1. So let's do it. Bring down your 2. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And remember, we add these. 7 plus negative 6 is 1. Multiply, we get negative 3. Add those and we get negative 1. Multiply and we get 3. Add those and we get 4. So this one has a remainder. Good. All right, so let's see how we're going to write this. This is my remainder. This is my number. This is my x. This is my x squared. So the way we're going to write this answer is 2x squared plus, it's a 1x, minus 1, because I got a negative 1, and then my remainder. So this is important. Here's how we write the remainder. The remainder is, so plus another 4, because my remainder was 4, over what we divided by. And we divided by x plus 3. So that's how you write your remainder. Let's do another one. I'm sure there are more that have remainders. All right, so numbers I'm going to use. Negative 1 goes in my half box. And my other ones are a 1. There is no x squared, so I got to put a 0. Then it's a negative 7 and a negative 6. So bring down your 1. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Add those, we get negative 1. Multiply, negative 1 times negative 1 is a positive 1. Add those, we get negative 6. Oh, this one won't have a remainder. Negative 1 times negative 6 is a positive 6. So there is no remainder. So number x, x squared. So to write my answer, it's going to be x squared minus x minus 6. And there was no remainder. All right, let's do this one. Numbers I'm going to use. A 2 goes in my half box. Then a 1. There is no x squared, so that's a 0. There is no x, so that's a 0. And then I got a negative 8. So bring down your 1. Multiply, you get 2. Add them, you get 2. Multiply, you get 4. Add them, you get 4. Multiply them, you get 8. Oh, we're not going to have a remainder again. No remainder. So the number, the x squared. So this answer is going to be x squared plus 2x plus 4, because they were all positives. All right, so if you will go try that worksheet 5.3 and let me know if you need help.